Welcome everyone to the Sage Live Intelligence webcast. My name is Carmen and I'll be hosting this webcast today. Today I'm going to take you through creating a report from scratch. Just so that you are aware, today's webcast will be recorded and provided to you via email. All participants are muted for the duration of the webcast, but you can type in any questions you want in the Q&A control panel or email me afterwards at carmen.griesel@sage.com. Okay, so what I want to take you through today, I want to take you why you want to use Sage Intelligence when working with Sage Live. Then I'm going to show you how you can customize your reports and run them out. And then I'm going to show you how to create a report from scratch. So let's get started. The reasons why you would want to use Sage Intelligence. I believe that Sage Intelligence gives you the power to customize your reports the way you want to see them. They're not static. You can change the columns, you can change the wording of your report, and that gives you power to create the reports that you want to see. You can also download that into Excel. So those 2 points are high when you want to create reports that are meaningful to you. With customizing your report, you have the ability to change the logo, the report header, the columns, and the rows. And I'll take you through exactly how to do this from scratch, as well as using an existing report. We also have, I will also take you through creating a report from scratch, so you know exactly how to create your reports if you need to. So let's get started with the demo. Okay, so from your Sage Live screen, all you need to do is you need to click on my mouse, click on Financial Reports, and you'll find Sage Intelligence in a tab. So click on that, and then that will load Sage Intelligence for you. All you need to do is click OK to allow Sage Intelligence to access your data. And I'm going to stop my download so I can only download the companies that I want to see. As you can see, you can download multiple companies. I'm going to work with United Kingdom today, and I'm going to select all the years. Now what will happen is it will download my United Kingdom data for me, and I can run reports off of that. Great, now my data is loaded. Let's go and see how you can run out a report. So the first thing you need to do is go to the standard reports that we provided for you. So you go to My Reports, Financials, and you'll see that we have the legislation reports for you, and all you need to do is type in your legislation. So I'm going to type in UK. And don't worry, South Africans reports should be coming out with the new release as well. So to show you how to just run a report out as it is here, all you need to do is click on Run. And we're running out a balance sheet, actual 1 to 12. You would select your data from the drop-down list, and then you would click on Run. And there you have your report. Now what's great from this is that you can actually click on the amounts and actually drill down further to see what makes up that amount. And on top of that, like I mentioned, you can download this workbook into Excel. So if I click on that now, once it's downloaded, you can see it's not just a CSV file, you actually have the format that you've created that report. Now to me that's great. You can now send that to your customers or to your business partners and share that information. So let's close that down. And let's go back. Now the first thing I would do when I come into any of the reports is I would want to create a folder to place any customization of my reports into that folder. So to do that, I'm just going to click on Create a Folder here, and I'm going to name it Webcast Folder. And I'm going to click OK. And there you can see my webcast folders created over there. Now what I want to do is I want to take one of these reports and I want to customize it. So I like the idea of income statement actual versus budget 1 to 12 and a year to date at the end. So I can make a copy of this, and then it's going to place that copy inside this list of our reports, which I don't really want to do. I want to place it into my folder. So to do that, I'm just going to click on Export. It then downloads it and saves it into my downloads folder. Now I can click on my folder. So if I go webcasts, and I click on open, I can now import that copy of my report into my folder, and I can name it appropriately. So I'm just going to call it income statement, and I'm going to leave it as it is, and then I'm going to click on import, and as you can see, it's now editable, and I can go and make my changes to this particular report. Now, why I love using the standard reports is because it gives me a platform or a guide to get started with. So to customize this report, we can actually go in and edit it. So to do that, I'm going to click on edit, and I'm just going to close this downloads folder link there. And as you can see, you've got actual, budget, and a variance there. Now you may actually want to see all your actuals first and then all your budgets. So we can go and change the look and feel of this particular report that you've just copied. But let's start from scratch. So firstly, I want to add a company logo. I'm going to choose my Sage Intelligence logo, and that customizes my report already. I then may want to change the income statement here. So I'm going to say actual versus budgets. And then that changes the name of my report. Now, as I mentioned, I want to see all my actuals together and then all my budgets together. So to change this column area, all you need to do is click on the pencil, remove all, and I love this. I can now go in to add a set of columns, select actual, and then select all 12 periods, and click OK. That then adds all my actuals here. Now, yes, it does say actual balance, but you can go in and change this to actual 1, or if you want to make it a particular month name, you can actually change it to that as well, and click OK. Now that's great, but I still need my balances. So what happens is when I go back into add a set of columns, I can now go click on budget, prior, and I can then I'll answer your question now, and then I can go in and select all and add, for instance, my prior. Okay, if you wanted budgets, you would need to actually go into the individual columns and then change that layer to a budget layer. So you would duplicate all 1 to 12 actuals and then change the name to budget. So let's just check that question there. So the question was, can you reflect the name of the period instead of period 1? Yes, you can. So what you can do is you can go over here, and I'm going to type in October, and then this one here, November, and December, and so on. So you can name whatever you want over here. Okay. Once you've got that set up, you can then run it out and see what your report looks like. Now, before you run it out, you may want to click on the filter and to make sure your filters have been selected. Remembering the current period is pulling in whatever you select at the time of run time. Okay, so I'm going to click on run the report, and there you can see your column names have been changed and your data is now populated. Again, you can still drill down into your figures. Now, what I may want to do is change this report a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to change this from a budgets, I'm going to make it actual versus prior. Okay, and what I love about this is that I can now go and remove all those columns and add a set of columns for actual, and I'm going to go space, and I'm going to put closing prior period actual balance, and I'm going to select quarters. And now what it's going to do, it's going to set up my quarters for me. And as you can see, I've got spaces there. If I need to add another space, I can do so by clicking on my column areas and adding a space and then moving it across. So take that across. So it makes it nice and neat. So I really love that. So that's the one thing you can do. Again, you can actually go into the rows, and maybe you want to call your total sales just sales. You can go in there and change the name to sales. It's just a field that you can go and type in. And if I click on sales, you can actually see it's pulling the amount as well as the account class. So What I like about this is that you can change this to the way you want to see your reports. You can even go in and add a percentage. So for instance, if you want to go and add in a percentage of gross profit, you can then go into add a calculation and go gross profit divided by sales or total sales. Let's just do total sales and click OK. And you'll give your GP percentage, for instance. And what I can do now is I can select show as percentage and then move that up. So when I run it out, you actually got the percentage showing at the bottom as well. So you can do a few ratios if you wanted to. It's just the way you set up your rows. There was another question. Let me just check what it was. The question was, are dimensions like projects available in columns or lines? Okay, you can apply a dimension to columns. So once you've selected a column, you can go in and select a dimension tag. In the new upcoming release, you will be able to select multiple dimensions in that single column. Okay, so let's go back and now create a report from scratch. As you can see, it's very easy to customize one that you've already created, which has already been created. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to create your own report. Okay, so I'm going to click on create a report. I'm going to give my report a name. So this time around, I'm going to say profits and loss, and I want current period. Okay, great. So let's go again, just add my company logo, just to show you that again. And then I'm going to change this to profit and loss, current period, actual versus prior. Okay. In my columns area, I can start from scratch. I want to go in and add just an individual column to pull in my current period as well as my previous period. So you can go and add an individual column and then add it and say current month. It's going to be an amount. It's going to be actual. Okay. No dimension tags, but you can actually add it if you wanted to. If you want to apply a budget, then you would select budget and not actual. And the year is going to pull in the year that you set at parameter time, okay, when you run the report out. Now, the only difference I'm going to do now is I'm going to select current period. So when you pull in current period, it's automatically, when you run your parameters out and you select your current period, that's the column or the period data that's going to be pulled into this report. So I'm going to select current period and I'm going to click OK. I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to click on add a column. This time around it's going to be prior period, prior month. Okay, and I can then go, I want prior period, everything else is fine there, and click OK. If you want prior year for that month, all you need to do is add another column, and I'm going to go prior year. And the difference is when you click on here, you're going to enter filter prior period -1 and then click OK. And you can see it's -1. So whatever you set your period or your year when you run the report out, it's going to -1 and bring back the prior year. Now, we want it to still for the current period, so I'm going to select current period and click OK. Now, the other thing I want to do is go and add some rows. Now, you've got a variety of options here as well. You can go in and add a quick set of rows. So if I go in and select income statement, you can see it sets it up and it's using my account classes. Okay, but maybe you actually want to see some detail. So obviously my system doesn't have too much information in it, but I'm going to go and add individual accounts to show certain accounts so I can see stuff. So I want to go in and I'm going to type in travel. This could be salaries, it could be anything that you want to specifically see in detail on your report. So I'm going to select travel and entertainment, and I'm going to click OK. And I may want to give it another space there and just a title. and I'm going to change the row type to a text, and then I'm going to just move that above, and I can then run the report out and see what it is, how this looks. So I'm going to click on filters because I need to select my filters first, and I'm going to select the year and the current period. I'm just going to select period 3, and I'm going to run it out. And there you have your current month, your prior month, which will be period 2, and then your prior year, which will be 2017 period 3. And you can see your details are actually in there as well. Now I'm going to go back. Okay, so then once you've created and you're happy with your report, okay, you would then save it, and then you can go back. Again, if you're wanting to share this with other colleagues or a customer, you can then export the report. That then downloads it for you, and then you email it to them, and then they can import it on their side and start using that report. So if you want to connect with us or learn more information, you can go to sageintelligence.com. You can also go to our learning portal, where we have loads of information and short videos on how to use Sage Intelligence for Live, as well as we've got our Sage Intelligence Academy, where you can upskill on Excel. If you found this webcast useful, please do like and share it on your social media channels. And thank you for joining me today.